Hello everyone and welcome to this episode of Mostly Finished Thoughts with more saliva than he has since Theo Elfving. Joined today by international treasure Alanna Matty. Hey!
Hi!
That's the sound. Oh god, why do I agree to do these things?
No, incorrect. Incorrect. Oh, that was very funny. It's just so moist.
So, especially when you write up at the microphone, it gets even moister than before. How are you, friend? I will moisten my mouth with some tea whilst I listen to how you're feeling.
I'm feeling pretty good. Pretty good. I'm having a little bit of like social anxiety today, but
lovely.
We're managing. Yep. It's going to be okay.
Anything in particular that's setting off the social anxiety?
No. Well, yes, but mainly it's just that like I had an incident this past summer. Like, you know, when you text someone and they don't reply back to you within like a day or two. Yep. You're like, they were probably just busy. Yep. It's fine. Yep. It's not about you. Yep. It was.
Oh.
And so that has kind of now ruined it for me. Anytime I text someone and then they're slow to respond, because even though the rational part of my brain is like, I haven't done anything, things are fine. Now my brain is like, but that one time it wasn't fine, and now it'll just never be fine again. So
I always have a false positive.
That's where I'm at.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
So, it's okay. And like the thing is that it will be fine.
Yeah.
There will, like, by this time next week, hopefully.
Knock on the wood.
Like, I won't even remember that this was a thing. Or I'll listen back to it and be like, I don't even know what I'm talking about. That's the hope. That's the goal.
Yeah, we're hoping.
But yeah, so that's where my brain's at the current moment. How are you?
I think I am good. I am super duper stressed because Mr. Elfving hasn't been thinking clearly. I took on way too much this week. And when I thought about it, I went, wow, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. That's the same week.
Yes, I saw your schedule.
But you can also see in the schedule that I removed 2 streams.
You did?
Yes.
Because you were doing other things.
Because my wife said, you cannot stream and do these things. And I said, well, yeah, of course I can. And she said, no, you have to choose.
Your wife is a wise lady. I very much approve.
Far wiser than I am.
What are you doing this week?
Tomorrow I am doing my regular stream, and then in the evening I'm doing a charity stream for Helpful Pixels, because it's Music Aid in Sweden this week. We lock 3 radio hosts into a glass booth in a town square, and then they sit there for a whole week, and they have guests, and people raise money for this year's charity. And this year it's a world without child labor, so money will be put towards helping kids with education and getting them out of slave labor. So I will be joining them for 2 hours tomorrow. And then on Thursday, I have a gig for the municipal government. One of their old employees are leaving after like 40 years of service, and they want to send him off with a dinner. So I'm going to be playing during his like dinner and thing, and then do a little show. And then on Friday, I have a pub gig, which is going to be fun.
You have a lot. I
have a lot on my plate this week. Yeah, and today was Lucia in Sweden, when we celebrate Saint Lucia. I don't really know why we Swedes celebrate an Italian saint who got her eyes burned out of her head. But in Sweden, it's a blonde woman who has candles and like a thing on her head. And then they walk in with white linen clothing on, and they give you fika. They give you cinnamon or saffron buns and coffee in the morning.
Oh,
it's a very weird thing. And today I was a Stjärngosse.
Is it a different saint with the same name, or is it the same saint?
No, it's the same. But we've just adapted it to northern terms of. It's super weird.
Okay, neat. Sorry,
So
and then today
I thought I'd give the stream a little bit of Swedish taste, so I wore my dunce cap, which is my starboy, Stjärngossestut, which looks like a dunce cap with golden stars on it, and I sang some Christmas songs. And someone asked if I was a grand wizard, and I had to time them out.
God.
Yeah, but it worked out well in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why, having seen the hat.
Yep. It is a wonderful piece of clothing. And I had to walk through my apartment holding a candle and then singing the song. I realized I should have done, because I started the stream with that. I should have just gone, I need to go to the bathroom, and then come back with that thing. That would have been the way to do it. But we live and we learn.
Yes. There's a song about that, isn't there?
Live and let... No. Live and let learn.
You live, you learn. You love, you learn.
Is this a real song?
Yeah.
Yes.
You cry, you learn, you lose, you learn.
This sounds like... Was this in Dawsons Creek, One Tree Hill, OC, and all those?
Probably.
It sounds very fitting to like every single episode of One Tree Hill.
Is it Alanis? It is. It's Alanis Morissette.
Yeah, there we go. And
it's a song called "You Learn."
The boys learn that that ever hurt the girls. And that song is playing and it's raining. One Tree Hill, California. What's it called? OC, and that. I don't want to wait for my life to be over. I don't know why Carpenter sings that song, but apparently. That's Dawson's Creek.
I don't think it was used in anything.
Any of them? Oh.
No, it doesn't seem like it. Unless it wasn't on the...
It just fit the general...
Like it wasn't on the album.
Yeah, it just matched the mood of... Did you watch these series growing up?
Not really. They were a hair before my time.
That was a little younger than I am.
There was one. I mean, but that, to be fair, like they were before my time and then not. Like I know a lot of people of my age group have watched them. It was just never really my thing. I'm trying to remember which one is the one that's in Toronto.
Was it Toronto?
It's going to really bother me. The one that Drake is in.
What?
Is it Dawson's Creek? No.
No. Was it the MTV one? Because MTV made a lot of productions like that later on. Man guesses about television in Canada. My favorite segment of all pod radio. What was the name of the... Did you find it?
No.
No? Okay, sorry. I thought I was talking over you, and then...
I'm looking at Dawson's Creek.
I'm very sorry. Sarty?
Okay.
I don't know what that was. Yeah, that is my favorite of James Vanderbeek crying. You've seen that image of him crying, right? Have you seen Sad
maybe.
Dawson?
Oh no, it was Degrassi. Wrong D show. Degrassi. It was around the same time, I think, as like Dawson's Creek and stuff.
But
like
also
that.
important, you've seen
Children
Sad Dawson, right?
No.
I am now posting a Google search.
Well, that is the longest URL I've seen in a very long time.
It's completely legit.
Yes.
Don't worry about it.
I didn't know that was what that was from.
Yeah,
I've seen that a lot. I didn't know where it was from.
That is the best sad face of all time.
You know, when I'm sad, that's what I look like. I'm going to post
you turn male?
I'm
so
posting
sad.
a pod. Hold on, I'm just going to post this in our chat so that I can share it to the podcast channel later for spoilers.
Yeah, friends, go into our Matty's podcast.
Wow.
Jesus, you're struggling. Alanna Matty has a Discord.
Those are all words in an order.
We should probably add the Discord to the link tree as well. That would be wise.
Oh, that would be wise. Yes. Yeah. And we post spoilers in there. Yeah. And we have some additional materials.
Yeah, and post
some fun
episode
materials for you.
Discussions if you want to join in there.
Yes. I was watching / listening to a podcast that I'd never listened to that were some like YouTubers that I follow along with.
Yeah.
And within the first hour, they had 3 separate sponsors.
Wow.
And I was like, I don't actually want to listen to this anymore. Like, it was so off-putting. Like, it's one thing if it's like you open the show and you have a sponsor, and then halfway through you have a sponsor, and then maybe you do like an extra thank you to your sponsors at like the end of the podcast. But this was like 3 different sponsors within an hour.
That is impressive.
And all like with like a full long spiel about each of them. And I was like, I appreciate the hustle, but also like, this is a lot.
What I love the most is I can get behind sponsored messages, but when they record one and then use it in every single episode afterwards, it feels so incredibly stale and unorganic. When people just, if we were to talk about like Skillshare or whatever, and Alanna, you know what, or whatever, and we did that every episode, that would be, I guess, fine. But having like we record one take of our spiel and just insert that.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No.
But we should try to find a sponsor as well further on. It would be fun.
Yeah, well, I think it's in the roadmap for the future.
Yeah, for the future, whenever that may be.
It would be nice.
It's just manifesting it.
For our time. Yeah.
If your aunt works for the old,
oh my gosh.
Perhaps you, a family member, has someone working. My brain will be all over the place today. I am so super duper stressful. And I also made a post. I made my life's first ever poster yesterday. I've always relied on others doing posters from wherever I need to do. Mm-hmm. And I thought, I've been learning all these nifty vector skills. Perhaps I should take a whack at it. And I did. And I'm very happy with how it came out. And my wife said,
I'm really glad.
The best thing you can do is when you're trying to make something is look at 3 things of the same thing that you want to do. So if you want to make a poster, find 3 posters that inspire you and then just mesh them and take the elements that you enjoy. And I went, oh, snap, I can. And she also said, because, and also no one copies like you.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Do you think that people could do that for other things? Like if we talk a lot about starting streaming here, but if someone were to be like, I want to start streaming.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think it's a folly to look at 3 or to look at only one person, especially because chances are if you're only looking at one person, you're looking at someone who's like hyper successful if they're like your only example. That's not going to be good.
Yes.
Yeah. Whereas like if you look at 3 people and then kind of
find the common
mesh
denominator
them together.
And or see like if there's something in you that you can like mimic or not mimic, but enhance, I guess would be the word. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the same as music. If you find like 3 songs and just do like the middle ground of that, if you just want to try your hand at songwriting and just trying to, I think it's a good technique overall.
I think that's a really interesting way to do it. Use it too little.
I've just started using it yesterday, but she's been saying it for years,
right?
And I've just been going, yes, I will, and never thought that I'd actually use it. Have you seen Modern Family, by the way?
Bits and pieces of it, yeah. I haven't watched like all of it, but I've watched a decent chunk.
Phil and his wife has an expression called wedge salad. When he's been trying to make her eat wedge salad for years. And then she comes home from work and have had a wedge salad, and someone said to her it was fantastic. So when me and Phil says wedge salad is when someone has been saying it for years, and then someone else just says it in passing, and you go, you know what? Now I like blah, blah, blah. I've been telling you this for years. And it's wedge salad.
I think there must be a word for that, because we definitely have, I definitely have it.
Yeah.
For certain things, and a friend of ours makes me crazy with it, where I will recommend games that I know them so well, and I'll be like, you should play this, you would absolutely love it. And then because I've said that now, it makes it less likely that they're actually gonna play it for some reason. Or like maybe if I say it, like if I've said it like 2 or 3 times, like maybe the first time, then there's a chance. But if I come back and I'm like, oh my God, you haven't played XYZ yet, or like, have you looked at this? And it's like, no. Now they're just never going to do it. And there's so many games that it's like, I know that you would like it. And I feel like Ghost and I do that with shows. Well, people will be like, oh my God, you'd love this show. But we don't watch a lot of TV. So like for us, like that's my excuse is like, well, we're doing other things. Yeah. We're not just going to watch random shows unless people are like, you have to watch the show. But like we didn't watch Ted Lasso for a long time, and then kind of became resentful of it because everyone was like, oh my God, Ted Lasso is so amazing.
Ted Lasso?
Have you not heard of Ted Lasso?
No.
Wow. Well, let me tell you, we finally watched it and it was amazing. Okay, cool. I'm really sad that we didn't watch it earlier. Netflix, it's an Apple TV. Apple TV. If you do the free trial, you can just like spam watch it. But let me tell you, broken brain to broken brain.
Yes.
It's a great show. Yeah. It's like really heartfelt and really warm, and you just like you finish every episode feeling good, like for the most part. Yeah. And that's really rare. And I think like watching it, I had a lot of like, we didn't like the first episode, and then we're like, no, we have to stick with it. And then by episode 3, we're like, this is an amazing show.
I'm never leaving.
Yeah. Now it's 2 seasons in, but it's like, it does these things where there's like you think they're going to do something cliche. Like you see the drama set up and you're like, okay, I've seen movies before. This is what's going to happen. Now we're going to have to watch them go through this conflict. But they don't. They're like real people, and they actually like have conversations with each other and behave rationally. And it's not like,
if there's something,
and I think that's really refreshing.
If there's something I love about TV shows or movies, it's when it could be solved by having a talk, and they solve it by having a talk. We could just talk to the damn person instead of going, no, he knows what he did.
Yeah, it's my least favorite kind of tension in media is like, you guys could just literally talk to each other and figure out your shit, and you just refuse to do that. It's just not interesting.
We've been watching the Swedish calendar, the Christmas calendar that is for kids. So Fel didn't watch them growing up, so I've been educating her, or we've been watching like a new one every year. So we're watching the current one this year, and also one from 91. And boy, let me tell you about the one from 91. There were different times in Sweden.
So what is it?
It's called Sunes jul, and it's a beloved like children's book character, and like his day-to-day life.
Okay.
He's a normal Swedish, and his mother is sitting in the kitchen smoking under the kitchen sink. Like under the fan. And I'm sorry, Mom, but yeah, my mom also did that in 91. I mean, that was like how parents or people were in the 90s, where you could smoke everywhere. And going, I'm just going to sit here and play cards under the fan. They had a nativity place. Is that what it's called?
Nativity scene.
You did it.
You did it.
You did a foreign word that you managed to do. And one of the kids had blackface. And it was sort of a me and Phil went, holy that ain't right. But like had it been past years, we just gone, oh, well, that was, I guess, a way of the
wow.
Thankfully it doesn't get broadcast. You have to like watch it on demand. I was very close to like putting in a call going, are you aware that you have archive footage like this? But
yeah, just maybe you should know that this exists.
This exists in your backlogs.
Yeah.
Did you hear about Scrubs? They did that, by the way. I love Scrubs so much.
Yeah. I think you told me that actually.
Yeah.
That they like cut some stuff
out. Just pulled all those episodes straight away, going, nope.
Yeah, which is smart. I think that's the right thing to do.
That is the standpoint to take when you've been shown that you're doing something faulty and not doubling down and going, no.
How do you... It's like that I say how, and I look into the distance. I can just hear Theo laughing. I can't see him because I'm looking off into the distance thoughtfully, but I can hear him giggling at me.
Why do birds... Why don't know what's up with that voice? I'm very sorry for the overuse.
It's fine. It's okay. I like it. My question was going to be on a slightly serious note, like in relation to that, as you get bigger as a content creator, you know, like as your community, as your audience grows, like, do you think you will be able to put your foot down about like how your community acts even as you get bigger?
Yes. Or that's what I hope, at least. I hope I don't grow to a scale where we'll just be like the wild old west of Twitch chat in the chat.
Yeah, see, like, I agree with you. I think I would always want to do that, and I would always hold my audience accountable, and I don't care enough about growth to harbor
when it gets
people that are, you know, toxic or you know, racist or sexist or homophobic or
whatever it may be. Yeah,
like,
just putting your foot down immediately when you see something shining. That doesn't fly here. Friend.
Yeah, exactly. And then just like that way it just doesn't grow. Even like I think there's certain trolly behaviors that are borderline as well, and I think that like that might be harder is when you have people that have been around for a long time and are kind of trolly. When they kind of tread that troll line, it'll have that, like, then it gets harder, right? And then it's like then you have to have difficult conversations. But I think like, I don't know, I was watching some YouTube videos on the weekend about, you know, people who are obviously way huger than us and just kind of the impact that they can have on society, which is a really weird statement. But
when you have like 6,000 people watching you, the chat will fly. It's hard to catch all, but I don't know if we should have 6,000 people watching then. I mean, if we, because we set ourselves out to build, you and I have been building communities from day one.
Yes.
And seeing this as an interaction with our viewers. It's not us playing a video game and letting people watch it. We're playing songs and being interactive with the chat. And that can only, I think that can only grow to a certain point until that becomes too big of a thing. When you start, I've been feeling like I've been neglecting people. I said this during front page as well, or not neglecting, but I can say hi to every single person, and that that sort of irks me, in that I wanted to be able to make every person feel acknowledged, at least.
Yes. Yeah.
And
I would hate to accidentally ignore people.
Yeah.
And I know that it already happens. I try to say hello to everyone that I can. But I think it's just natural that you end up missing people.
Of course. And hopefully these people will understand that it comes from an inability to do it and not just ignoring them. Just like the text message. It's Yes. Fingers crossed. But it is a very good question. And I think just putting your foot down every time, even friends, or especially when friends say racist remarks or sexist things, is calling people out on their behavior. Because if you don't say anything, they will just think that it's so cool to do it. And it sucks. Sorry.
It does suck. No, it does. It does suck. It's really difficult. And like, we kind of had a conversation like that. We had some friends over for Christmas. Like a week or so ago, which was really nice. It was really nice to see them, but there's definitely some, like, I don't want to say that they're sexist behaviors so much as they're just like antiquated behaviors. So like there's a boys chat and there's a girls chat, and it makes me freaking crazy. I could go off on this forever, but I won't. But it just makes me crazy. And so a couple of us brought up, because plans have been missed because they're being put in a specific chat. And it's like, I am not my partner, and my partner is not me. So we cannot be expected to, like, you know, to have to like share every piece of information that comes at us. And so like there were things that I was missing out on, or that Ghost was missing out on, because I didn't realize, neither of us realized that they weren't also being shared elsewhere. And so a couple of us brought it up at the Christmas party. We were like, this is dumb. Like, this is silly. And we were kind of just met with a like, no, it's not. Like, you've got to like you got to do this and this. And it's like, And so it's difficult in that scenario because it's like, it's not inherently sexist. It's not like there's things happening in either chat that like the other gender shouldn't know about, but it's like the girls chat ends up being a lot of like wedding shit, or people like, oh, well, we're going to do like, we'll handle all the details here amongst the girls because, you know, the guys can't be trusted. And I'm like, that's crap. Like the guys can be trusted to like know what the plans are, you know, sure. And then it's, I don't know. It's just, it's really difficult, even on that like little nuanced scale, to have to like stand up to your friends or your family and be like, no, that's a really silly way of looking at things.
Well, you know, women aren't. No, we were talking about this today in stream. I don't know how I got ranting about this today. I think it was about love. Initially, we were talking about movies and romantic movies and how I do not like romantic movies because I don't like when I'm supposed to feel something. When they try to make me feel happy for the couple, like those Hallmark movies. Yeah, that sort of romance, or The Notebook. I don't like. I'm sorry, everyone listening. I don't like The Notebook. I know that some people love The Notebook, and that's fine. You can love The Notebook. But I was talking about that I had sort of like a nice guy complex growing up. I didn't have a male role model, so I didn't know how to talk to women. And it was super weird. And I thought like women were on pedestals, and it was a really weird time for me. And then I realized, oh, women are people. And if you treat people like people, life gets a lot easier.
Yeah, it does. It does get a lot easier.
Or whatever gender you're assigned, or whatever gender you identify as, or people. Treat people as treat people, and life will become a lot easier. The whole men are from Mars, women are from Venus thing, I think that has like done one of the most damn hurtful things of like making the preconceived conception about how male and females work. It's so goddamn individual.
Oh, yeah. And you'll notice that the people who benefit the most from there being a difference between men and women are men.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, women are unstable and untrustworthy, and they only care about staying home and raising children.
They like
and like
cooking. It's in their nature to be nurturing.
Yeah. And it's you know, and like, but it does, to be fair, that narrative also hurts men a lot, because there's a lot of men who are very family oriented and who want kids maybe more than their partners do,
or want to be at the
and then they can't take. Yeah, exactly. Then they don't feel like they're able to be stay-at-home dads, or they're refused paternity leave and all of that stuff.
Or,
you know, so like it just doesn't.
When they're home with a kid.
Yeah, it just doesn't. It doesn't benefit either person to have these.
And that is a real tangible way we can make impact, as you were saying before, about how you can change people's lives, and on the smaller scale that we are, but still, just if there's someone listening to you while streaming and talking about that, like just verifying that everyone has value and just doing it continuously.
And I think that you make a good point where it's like, you know, you just have to treat people as people, and you have to treat people on an individualistic basis.
Yes.
You can't just put people into camps and say, well, this person will obviously like this thing because they are XYZ, whether that is gender or race or even age often, you know, like we were buying Christmas gifts for our nieces, and like they're all so different, and their learning is at really different points. So even if it's like, oh, well, this seems a little bit young for this person, it's like, yeah, but whenever we give her siblings toys, she always kind of wants one. And so it's like, you know, you play into like where she's like where any particular person is at.
For sure.
So it's, I don't know. I think you have to, it's more work, obviously, but I think you really do need to look at things at an individualistic basis. I think there's women that are better for some jobs, and there's women that are worse for some jobs. Same with men. Yeah. But it's based on the person, not on anything else.
Yeah, but as you said, it's a lot more work, but it's work that needs to be done. Yeah. Sort of like, I don't know, you have to have your appendix is bursting. Oh, it's a lot of work. But but the sinus appendix is bursting. Perhaps we should like put in the effort and go.
Yeah. Because
our natural state is to put things in camps because of our monkey brains and how we're like, I will not make the monkeys. This is not but just how we're equipped to deal with things initially. And that is how we're learning. If you can learn how to use a smartphone, if you can learn how to use the internet, you can learn how to not put people in categories.
Yeah. It's
I think we fully agree with each other.
Yes, we do. We definitely fully agree with each other.
Patting each other. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
But it's very good to talk about. It's also important to keep that.
Yeah.
And not virtue signaling. But just the decency signaling going, yes.
Yeah. I'm not gonna pat, like, you shouldn't pat me on the back. I'm not gonna pat you on the back for having these opinions. It's a good sense of how to treat people.
Yeah.
But I think it's always worth stating, just on the off chance that there are people that don't realize that.
Yeah, or like having, as we said about the word shallow, hearing about games. Sometimes you need to hear it from another person. And suddenly that person to say something and you go, oh, now it clicks.
Yeah.
Or there was that certain day where they needed to hear it. You never know. So just talking about things is bueno.
I was on a podcast a while ago and it took a turn into talking about like topics we shouldn't have been talking about. Like we were talking, and I kept trying to steer it back.
Yeah.
Because I think for a while we were talking a little bit about women's rights, and then that got shifted into like transgender rights.
Oh.
And or just like the transgender like experience, and it was very difficult for me to try and like steer the conversation back and be like, first of all, people is people, and second of all, like, we can't speak to anyone's experiences except for our own. Like we're way like, you're pushing us way out of our depth here, which is also important to understand. You know, you can't speak for what other people experience. If it's not your experience, you cannot speak for them. You can listen to them and you can sympathize with them. You can try and help them if they need help, but you cannot assume what someone else's needs or experiences are unless they've told you what their needs and experiences are, you know?
So what I'm hearing here is, no, sorry. What Alanna's trying to say is, that is also my favorite thing. Speaking of gender roles, have I told you about when I had a new door installed?
No.
When we moved in here, we had I think the door was made out of cardboard.
Oh.
And since we had been burglarized in our old apartment, we were sort of keen on having like one of those wood doors. Mm-hmm. Like a security door. So we were supposed to get fitted for one because they have to build them custom for these door frames. And they never called. And then they said, your door is being shipped. There's a dude coming to install it. And I thought, wow, that's cool. I'm glad they're coming between 7:30 in the morning and 4 o'clock. Well, that's also how I schedule appointments. That's quite a span.
That's great.
So I was sitting here waiting for him.
I'll just be available.
Yeah, so I was sitting here waiting for him. And at the time, we had a very elderly lady living across the hall. I think she was 94 years old. Danish, German, didn't speak Swedish, sort of. And then I sat here and I thought, it sounds like she's in distress. So I went out into the hallway, and sure enough, yeah, she was in distress because the dude who was supposed to install our door had taken her door off the hinges and tried to install our door. And she was then going, no, please, no, I don't want a door. And then I had to tell him, like, are you here for the Elfvings? And he went, why? because that's us. We live across the hall. And said, but she said her name was something completely different from that. And then apparently they had measured the wrong door. So they'd measured her door. And our door has a left hinge and her has a right. So the door they made for her didn't fit in our door. Did not stop the man from removing my door for a brief period, though. So I was sitting in my kitchen drinking coffee without having a front door, as he was loudly yelling at his boss and his co-workers on the phone. Then he returned the door to the hinges, and then he left. Then he showed up 2 weeks later with a new door that fits, and then he installed it. And I have never met an angry handyman all of my preconceived notions about handymen all came to fruition. I just heard him yell out, going, where he went, "Oi!" And I went, "Is he talking? Is he? Oi!" He's probably talking to me, "Sir." And then he came in with a cable, going, "You didn't need this, did you?" I don't know. Where did it go from? Where did you find it? I don't know. It was in the way for mounting the door, and I went, it's just a telephone wire. Yeah, cool. We don't use a landline, so it's fine. But just the not asking before he snipped it, just coming in with it, going, "I removed this.
Hello, here's this cable. I've cut it for you. You're welcome."
Here you go.
Jesus Christ.
That was good. I offered him coffee, and he got super angry and said, "I must be the only goddamn handyman in Sweden who doesn't drink coffee." And I went, "Wow, how is this?" The old place we lived at, I always offered the people working the stairwell for coffee. If I heard them painting, I'd go, "Hello, I put on a fresh pot. Would you like some coffee?" Because that is what you do.
Nice people do, yeah.
Yeah, and they probably would enjoy a cup of coffee, and I don't feel like an asshole when they come into my apartment. I'm just standing looking at them going, "Work, man."
Yes. God, that's...
Yeah, so
don't you have numbers on your door?
Yes. Yeah, and also the name on the door that did not match the document that he had been...
Oh my God. Yeah, and then he just doesn't listen to this poor old lady. That makes me so
and
mad.
She was terrified, and I had to calm her down as he was just going, no, lady, you listen to me. I know I do my job. She was just standing there terrified, going, "I don't know the door. How much would this be? Who are you?"
Yeah.
It was good times. She has since moved.
That's horrible. Yeah. Well, I hope she's doing okay.
Oh, my current neighbors there I think they are subletting it to an Airbnb. Because I think I've seen 35 people there in the past 2 weeks. You see a new person with a suitcase roll up from the elevator and you go,
Oh yeah, that's 100%, 100% an Airbnb.
Yeah.
Do you guys have regulations for that stuff?
I don't know.
I know we talked a bunch about housing.
And we have a lot
couple weeks ago.
about something. Yeah, there's a lot of regulations.
Yeah.
I mean, but I still see the regular tenant there, so I guess it's all fine and dandy. I think it becomes a real issue when they stop living there themselves.
Right.
As long as they're still, they can just sublet a room.
Yeah. I know some places you have to live somewhere for a certain percentage of the year, and then you're able to rent it out after that.
Yeah, subletting is a nightmare. And then I think you have also squatters' rights in Sweden, whereas you live somewhere long enough, or if you just hang out there, you're allowed to live there.
Interesting.
Which people have been using, breaking into people's summer houses and then staying there indefinitely and then going, no, this is my house now. Well, okay. Speaking of squatting in houses, have you played Icarus, the new game? The open world space game? It is fantastic. No.
Yeah.
I logged half a work week with my brother last week. We did 20 hours of Icarus.
Wow, nice.
So goddamn fun. It was
Is it co-op? Is it couch co-op or is it
people
online?
Co-op online.
Whoa.
And then you drop down to a planet, and you have to make sure, like Valheim, sort of, and then you fight the wildlife. And then you finish the objective, and you get XP points, and you level up. Go back to the spaceship. You lose all your items, but you still have your skills and your new blueprints. And as you drop down next time, you can make better gear. It's fun.
Sounds good. Yeah, that sounds great. I've been... I don't know if we've talked about this before, but Ghost and I, we try to play 12 games in 12 months. Oh. This is our second year that we've done it.
Yeah.
Just because we started it last year, either last year or the year before, because we had so many games that we would start and then we wouldn't finish. And so we were like, okay, let's get through stuff that we have already, and you have to finish it. Like, you have to see the credits roll on it. Yeah. So we started doing that, and we did it again this year. Ghost definitely overwhelmingly finished more games than I did because I was,
do you have to play them together or?
Losing my mind. No, we don't. And so like he played games from certain series that like I barely saw any of. And then vice versa. So I've been like, we've already gotten our 12, but then what we also try and do is we get very into game of the year.
Yeah.
So at the end of the year, we like to pay attention to just whatever is whatever the big games are for the year, and we try to play at least a little bit of each of them, or at least like see enough of them like online, because we can't afford to like buy games all the time, especially like big AAA games.
I seem to remember this happening last year where you posted like a review.
Yes. Yeah. So then we do our own kind of game of the year, where it's not just games that came out this year. It's just the games that were the most significant to us within the year. So our favorite games that we've played. And we're kind of in crunch time right now, trying to get through a few that we got on sale this year that we haven't played yet, or that before like the game of the year discussions begin.
Did you finish Death's Door?
I haven't even started it.
Oh my God. Alanna.
Because I said I was going to play it on stream. And so I've been kind of avoiding playing it because I keep thinking, oh, I'm going to stream it. And then I don't have the energy to stream it. So then it just doesn't happen. But that will happen. And then I've been playing Inscription. Have you played Inscription?
Card deck builder?
Yeah.
Thing? No. I've seen it on YouTube.
Okay.
I'm now letting other people play my games for me, where I just watch people who are good at playing games.
You should experience Inscription.
Oh.
It is an experience. I really thought it was just one thing at first, but it's kind of like it's an escape room and a card game at the same time.
Cool.
And then I reached a big point yesterday where I was like, what the actual fuck is happening now?
Oh.
So it's worth experiencing.
Okay,
I'm very happy that I got to experience it without having it be spoiled for me.
I'll have to check it out.
I think people have done a pretty good job of not doing it because it is like, it's wild. It's like it's so weird and so unexpected that you do need to experience it for yourself, I think.
I'll have to check it out. Is it on Steam?
Yeah, it is on Steam.
Yeah.
I don't recall it being very expensive.
I've been using Xbox Game Pass for a while now. Mm-hmm. I'm loving that.
Yeah,
that
Ghost just got it. We had it for a while before, and then we canceled it because we weren't using it very much. But Ghost just got it again because there's a bunch of stuff like Halo Infinite and stuff is on there at the moment. So he's back.
And also just like I played Hollow Knight thanks to that because it was there. I don't think I would ever bought Hollow Knight.
Yeah.
But I just installed on a fluke.
Nice.
A lot of different games I've been playing through that, which is My Time at Portia.
Oh, My Time at Portia is such a weird one for me. I played that a little while ago. Yeah. And it really seemed like it was going to be my kind of game. Yes. It was very much of that. But it fell flat for me. Which was disappointing.
Played it quite a while, but then I also there's just too many steps at that point where you go, so now I need these hardwood planks with the blah 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 blah, and there's like the Factorio point of the game where you go, oh god, I just wanted to repair my grandfather's farm. That's all I wanted.
There was, because I think of working in games, I do have a bad habit of being like, okay, this game is good, But if you had just done, ABC, XYZ, whatever changes, then it could be so much better.
I finished Archvale last weekend. Mm-hmm. Which is a new, like a bullet hell thing, Enter the Gungeon style, meets Zelda.
I am not very good at that kind of game.
I suck at those games. I don't really try to play Enter the Gungeon and stuff like that. But that I tried. Yeah. And it was fun. And it was like sort of shortish, 15 hours. But since it wasn't the Xbox Game Pass, I just tried it and it was bueno.
Nice.
I don't think I ever would have bought it.
Yeah.
But having the option to play it was, all right, well, yeah.
Well, I mean, if it's there.
Yeah.
Then why the heck not?
Like those sort of crisps that you just have at home and go, oh, well, there's nothing else here, so I'll just
eat these, yeah. Yeah, I like games a lot. I think I enjoyed working in games, and I will continue to obviously be in and out of the industry, I think, but I don't know. I like playing. Do you have the ambition
of making the Alanna Matty game? Or making an own? Do you have any aspirations?
I have a couple of friends who the three of us are kind of making a game together. Not kind of. We are making a game together. And I think that is more along the lines of what I would like to do. I want to have a seat at the table. I think that's something that I've learned about myself, is that I need to either have a seat at the table or be so far off the table.
Oh, they can just do grunt work? Yeah.
That I can just do the grunt work. You know what I mean? Like, I think, like, if I have no say, and I know that I have no say, and so I can just, like, be given the animations and the rundown, and then I can just do the work, and then you can give me feedback, and I can fix it, and that's it. That's amazing. Or I have to be, like, actually at the table and actually make a difference, because anytime that I've been sort of in the middle of those two things, it is extremely stressful for me, because I'm trying to make an impact, or I want to make an impact, and I can't really make an impact. And like, you can only have words fall on deaf ears so many times, and you can only be told, like, no, like, we want you to be in, like, all of these meetings and all of these things. And then the reality is, then the creative director can turn around and say, oh no, we're scrapping everything all of a sudden. So all the work that you've done up until that point is, like, without you getting a say, now all of a sudden it means nothing. And that I can't handle. So it's like, it needs to be either, like, completely removed from me, or I'm like, or I get to be in that discussion where they're like, should we just scrap everything? Yeah. Right. As opposed to being the person who's told, oh, hey, by the way. Did I tell you about, I worked at a startup and they fired my team without telling me?
What?
Yeah, I had a team, and they were both, like, friends of mine, and I watched them get fired. They got called into an office, and I watched it happen, and I was like, oh my God, you're firing my team. And then I went and confronted them, because there was someone who wasn't in the office, and they were like, yeah, actually, can you, like, text him and ask him to come in? And I'm like, so now you're asking me to text this person. It wasn't, like, it was my team who worked for me. You did not ask me. You did not confer with me. You did not tell me if this was going to be a good idea. I gave him shit for it afterwards. I was like, this is really dumb. And then they were like, oh, well, we decided that it would be less stressful for you if we didn't tell you in advance.
I can see how they would think that.
I can see how they would think that.
But then you go, I'm also
it's
human.
Completely untrue. Yeah. And it's like, no, it's not less stressful, because now I have to do damage control with these people that I care about. Yeah. And you made a decision with half of the information that was available to you.
Perfect.
Like, why would you do that? Like, how? And then I told them that. They're like, oh, well, we thought, it would be like if we told this other girl that we were firing you, and then she has to keep that a secret, and that's not fair to her. And I'm like, no, that's not the same at all. She's not in my department. Yeah. She's not going to inherit my job when, like, I leave. Like, it doesn't impact her if I'm gone.
So I'm guessing you're glad to be out of there.
Oh God, that was a terrible time. Terrible time.
Meetings is my number one thing I hate the most.
Yeah.
I despise me. Although this is a meeting, I love this. This is a good meeting.
This is a good meeting.
But I mean,
I think there are good meetings.
Meetings that are for meeting's sake. We go, today
Yes.
on the agenda, we're going to talk about nonsense. It's going to be a lot of nonsense. We're going to have a break and then more nonsense. And then we're going to break up into groups and get into nonsense. We
Yeah.
had Arbetsplatsträff when I worked as a teacher, which is workplace meeting. We were just discussing like how are the different units working together, and like I was a temp. They told me go teach that class, and come back, and I had to sit through that like listening to their whole vision thing, where it just becomes no, I don't want to be a part of this. This is why I temp, to get out of meetings like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when someone has to,
there's definitely bad meetings, and I think that there's something to be said for people who run companies or organizations or whatever, who can acknowledge, like, so for example, there was a meeting that I used to be in when I was working in games that was like all of the heads of the departments would come together and say like, okay, this is kind of what has happened this week or this sprint, which was 2 weeks. This is what I want to focus on for the next 2 weeks. And you would kind of base it on what everyone else said. But there was one guy who had the biggest team, and he would just talk forever. And the meeting was at lunchtime, so it started like 11:30, and I would just be starving. And I've already said my bit. There's no reason for me to be here, because he's not saying anything important. He's rambling about people on his team and what maybe this guy should work on this, or maybe this person should do this, or like I've been thinking like this and this and this, like so detailed. And it's like I needed the producers to be like, everyone else can go.
Yeah, have lunch. Yeah.
Yeah, please leave. And it's like I think that is something that's underappreciated, or I guess maybe underrealized as a leader, is like, if you can let other people out of meetings when they don't need to be there anymore, you've earned like
the
50 points.
Need to know thing. Like you don't or like the actual, you don't need to know this. Leave. Save your sanity. But were you scrumming? Is that no? I heard sprint.
Scrumming?
Isn't that a thing where they use? No.
Yeah, I don't know if scrumming is the word, but we had sprints, so it was like you would have tasks or goals for every 2 weeks, and then you would have milestones that you had to hit, and so like all of every sprint you would be working towards that milestone and like taking small chunks. Because
I think Scrum is I think that's one way of like managing things like that. I don't know. I've heard the term used by friends who work in these things, and they've also used the word sprint. So I was just curious if this was the same thing.
A Scrum in my vocabulary has been like a meeting. Where you have like a scrum where you get together and you're like pitching ideas, or you're working together on a problem or something. I think it's a weird word. The more I say it, the less it makes sense in my mouth.
We'll probably get the answer in your Discord. I'm quite certain we have some listeners who will go, aha.
Probably. I think a scrum is a meeting.
Or I will Google.
That's my guess.
Anything to make things more manageable, I guess, is a good thing.
Mm-hmm. If you were to work in another industry, like if you were, like if music was off the table, and time wasn't like an issue, like
learning a skill or trade,
like learning a skill, like if you could snap your fingers and have the skills needed to like work in a different industry, you'd be a baker
or a pastry chef. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I was talking to
I like that a lot.
No, because I would love to produce baked goods, waking up in the morning, going to preferably my own bakery then, and preparing things that people enjoy eating, and then I would make those things, and then they would be sold out, and then I would repeat the next day, and life would be just a series of these events. Nice. We would have a tangible thing that someone could use, and I also love using my hands, and I love cooking.
Yeah.
And also the science of baking and just improving things over time, making like the best cinnamon buns.
And that is fully something that you could learn at this stage of your life.
Are you saying I should quit music?
No. No. But I am saying that, like, if you ever wanted to,
Yeah, for sure.
like that could really be something that you could do. It's not like going to like law school or whatever.
No. This is or like being a doctor. I'm now 49. I'm now want to be, but people do those things as well. My mom became a teacher at 47. So
yeah, people do. I
What
think
would
it's
you
really cool.
do.
I've always wanted to open a not a restaurant, like a cafe or a bar, like a small business. I really love people that do that run their own places. And part of it might be because like my family owned a cafe when I was growing up where I got to work there.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's directly because of that. So this job that was terrible where they fired my team, a big part of my job was making partnerships with small business owners.
Oh.
And so I got to meet a lot of them and see their businesses and see what they were doing. And I don't know, I just find it really inspiring. Like, I think if I could open a little like coffee shop or like a really neat little space.
I'll come bake.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. I do like that both of us are like, yeah, I would leave this service-related job to then go do a different service-related job.
And also, I think we both like having regulars.
Yes.
From what you're saying about small businesses, and I'm also thinking like a bakery that you have your set amount of clients that come back.
And like
so
rituals.
Like
you know?
Yeah,
like,
for sure. Yeah, that was a very good observation that we were both leaving and then thinking, life would probably be different.
Yes, the people pleasers leave their people pleasing job to work separate people pleasing.
At worse conditions.
Yeah.
We also have to face like customers or like having people complain about.
Yeah, and see, I don't miss customers. I don't know. I think that's probably it. I think there's some really neat businesses, and I think there's some like holes at least in Toronto that could be filled.
Yeah.
As far as like running a business goes. So I don't know. It's something I've been thinking about for a long time.
Is it? Oh, so it might come to fruition as well.
Maybe someday. I have actually thought, and I was going to ask you this as well. So I've noticed a couple of people. I don't know what to call them. Like YouTubers, I guess, are the ones that I'm thinking of specifically, who have found success and made money, and then instead of like just like buying a house in LA and not really doing anything, they are starting businesses. Yeah. So like, do you know Binging with Babish?
Yeah. Yes.
He's opening a B&B, like a bed and breakfast.
What?
He's like building it in New York State, and it's
Binging
beautiful.
With Babish, bed and breakfast. Oh, that is perfect. B&B.
Yeah,
his
right.
Home,
and it's like, but I think that's so cool. You know, like having that be like taking your money and not just sitting on it, but taking it and like doing another venture that's also cool interesting. Yeah, I saw someone else who like bought a property and they've turned it into, it's just an Airbnb. Like it's just a rental property, but they've like done a really good job with this rental property and made it really cool. And like, I just think that's super neat. I think that's like, if I were to reach a point of like being wealthy, and, you know, my life was squared away and my parents' lives were squared away or whatever.
You would never stop working.
Be able to like, I'm going to start this venture, or I'm going to help fund someone else who can run this venture or something like that. I don't know. I just think it's a really neat thing.
I'm guessing it's also why these people are successful.
Yeah.
Because they just go, well, now I've done one thing, time for the other. Not, I'm going to do this thing for my entire life and then... And there's nothing wrong with doing that. And we talked about creativity and stuff like this before. And
I think it's fine to, like, if you want to sit on it and like sit on your earnings and funnel that back into the same craft or into just looking after yourself. That's also fully
in my like dream is to own a... This is the worst idea ever. To make money, this is the single worst idea ever. A book cafe. where
I love that.
where we would do like the cooking and stuff, and then I would play music in the evening, and Phil would sell books and curate that.
See, I don't think that's a bad idea. It sounds like one of those
British novels where they went into the... But yeah.
Oh, we've thought about that for sure. I've thought about like board game cafes. Like we have a couple board game cafes here, but a lot of them are often like... The most successful one is really nice, but a lot of them are very like dingy. I don't know. We went to one in Halifax and it was just like they didn't really try.
Here's checkers and here's a cup of coffee.
Yeah, whereas it's like if you can create really nice atmosphere and then have that stuff. Yeah, I think that's lovely.
I guess
Romantic,
you have to be independent and wealthy
lovely.
for this to work as well, because you will be hemorrhaging money initially.
Yeah. Yes.
How you get
I mean, any
to-
business is hemorrhaging for a while. Yeah.
And you have to have people who stay there and that whole thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I guess either being at the table or working as a grunt. Also, same here. Is either like don't ask me about input and then don't take my advice and then tell me to
Yeah.
This is why this is perfect, the streaming thing as well. Just, I have an idea, I'll roll with it, and then I'll deal with the fallout later.
Yeah, you're firmly at the table.
Yeah.
And like it's the same with like this podcast, right? It's like we're both firmly at the table.
Yes.
If either of us were like, I want to call it quits, like we would be sad, obviously, but at least you have it's like I wouldn't cancel it and then be like, haha, Theo. Or like, oh, I'm like, you're off the show now. Like that's not possible.
You've lost.
Yeah. You are the weakest link.
Goodbye. Oh, I'm so psyched about the gig on Friday. So I did your homework. The homework I gave you.
You did? Oh, good.
I did. I had a viewer reach out and said, I'll be in Sweden on the 17th of December. Are you playing anywhere? And I went, not yet, but I can make sure that I do.
Yeah.
So I reached out to a friend who recently bought a bar. And I'm playing there on Friday. It's going to be good. And they had a Christmas party on Thursday.
I'm proud of you. Yeah.
It was fantastic being out and about people.
Yeah.
It's my regular haunt where I live now. And they just switched owners. And this was the first. And the new owner did a Christmas sit-down dinner for the regulars of that pub.
Yeah.
Which was fantastic. And everyone was like dressed up in like holiday clothes and Christmas party. It was fantastic.
Yeah,
it felt like a little village in my part of town.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. I'm going to play there on Friday. It's going to be so good, Alanna. And now I can finally try to play Sweet Caroline for Swedes and see if it works.
Go.
I've been wanting to try this
Sweet
since I learned
Caroline?
it. Sweet Caroline. I have so many new songs that I've learned on Twitch.
Yeah.
And now I can play 500 Miles again and see if people sing along with that.
I'm excited for you. I looked up a bunch of open mics. Yeah. I was all gung-ho about it. We almost went a few weeks ago and then I didn't.
And now it's Christmas.
And now it's Christmas. I mean, like, there is an open mic tonight.
Yes?
I don't think I'm going to go.
Why?
I just, like, our COVID numbers are picking up.
Okay, that is also a reasonable thing, too.
And so I'm not super comfortable with that thought. So there is that. And then there's also just this, like, I don't think an open mic is what I want.
That is
I don't think it's what I want.
To wet thine beak and just go, this was tasty. I want more of this live experience on seeing people.
I feel like we talked about this before, but it's like I'm very much walking into an unknown situation. Like I'm walking into I don't know how many songs I can play. I don't know what the normal music that is played here is. And I know that's like you have to go and learn. I know. But it's just like when you talk about steps to going and doing something, when it's not something that I really want to do anyway, like I'm not like the end reward isn't really even something that I want to do.
We talked about this last week, the serotonin reward.
I know.
Yeah? I know. Yes.
Exactly. So it's.
But I think the serotonin reward for doing this will be immense, Alanna.
I don't know if it will. That's my problem. Seeing a live
ostrich listen to your songs, it will be fantastic.
I don't know what sound an ostrich makes.
Probably
I
that
imagine
one.
something like that.
Yeah, I'm guessing.
Something birdish.
Something birdish. But you should
Birdesque.
go. Though I understand your... I fully understand your hesitations because of COVID. All the other conversation or hesitations are just...
Yeah, COVID is the biggest reason. We have to see a lot of family and whatnot in the next couple of weeks. So,
it's just 11 days away now, Alanna. Christmas Eve.
Christmas.
Oh, it's gonna be so good.
Are you taking time off?
Uh,
That was a pregnant pause. / is this our last podcast for a while?
or I think we're recording next week. Or
I think we're recording next week.
yeah, and I'd be fine to record as well before New Year's.
Okay, so never mind.
Yeah, I think we'll be fine.
We'll be here.
Yeah. No, I'll be spending Christmas at my mom's place, which is 10 minutes away from here, so it'll be fine.
Okay. So not so bad.
And Christmas Eve is on Friday, and then Boxing Day is also at her house, and then Monday I'm back here, so it's gonna be good. I'll probably stream still, and I'll take some time off in January.
Yeah.
The old classic content creator vacation, where they all go on break and vacation, or in Theo. The brain
On vacation? Yeah. I'm kind of taking off next week and the week after, but I'm not taking it off in the traditional sense. Like I'm not not streaming.
I am very intrigued as to hear how you're taking it off in a non-traditional sense.
I am not scheduling anything.
Oh, yes. So there might be pop-up.
I'm going to stream when I feel like streaming. And I'm going to stream what I feel like streaming. So that might mean games. That might mean art. That might mean music. And I just want to do it on my own time.
Yes.
Instead of it being like, these are my regimented days. And I know that's not good for like growth in your algorithm and whatever the frick, but I think it's just what I want to do.
I think you've also reached a point now where you don't have to worry that much about growth.
Yeah.
So you can just enjoy streaming and enjoy what you're doing. If you're a new streamer, you should not probably do these steps.
No, don't listen to this advice.
But if you're sitting at a cool 10,000 followers and you have regulars in your stream and people know who you are and they're in your Discord and people want you to feel good, take some time off and do things you enjoy doing.
Okay. Yeah. So that'll be next week, I think. Yeah. And then Saturday this week. Saturday this week, Danny the Hambleton is coming over.
Oh my God.
Hamble the Dambleton.
How long is a flight
Oh, man. We're doing a Christmas special. We're gonna so when you're listening to this, if you're listening to this on Friday, this episode comes out Friday the 17th. So if you're listening to it on Friday, tomorrow Danny is going to be here and we're doing a Christmas spectacular. We're going to sing Christmas songs. We're going to decorate gingerbread houses. It's going to be cute.
Oh my God. Will there be Fairy Tale of New York?
Will there be what?
Fairy Tale of New York? The Pogues?
Probably.
And that's such a great song.
Yes, probably. I only learned that song on Twitch like 2 years ago.
What? I love that song. Yeah. It's a big Christmas song in Sweden as well. But I went into a pub when I was like one of my regular pubs where I started hanging out when I was 18. And like the day after Christmas or Boxing Day, there was a guy playing guitar there and he played like a folksy version of that.
Ooh.
And that is like my whenever I hear that
Your
song,
reference
I
now?
snap right back to that moment of like revelry, people just sitting there drinking, and everyone singing along, and the boys of the NY. It wasn't an Irish bar, it was just people enjoying Christmas. Fantastic.
That's really cool.
That's why I love the song.
Yeah.
It's not because I get to hear it 19,000 times at a mall. Fel used to work at a cheese shop in a mall before we met. And they would have like the ultimate Christmas. So all the Christmas songs and Mariah Carey and all those. Oh God. And as a hidden track, they had the Flying Pickets or Yasu's Only You. You know that song?
No.
All I wanted was to love you and gave all I needed for another day. It's
yeah.
And that was an a cappella song in England, I think, and it became like the most best-selling song during Christmas, and then it became a Christmas song in Sweden as well. So now we're forced to listen to da-da-da every Christmas.
I don't think of that song if I think of Christmas.
No, not at all. But normal people don't. But Swedes go, British people listen to this during Christmas. Let's.
That's funny. We should wrap it up.
Oh, like the Christmas gifts.
It's not as long as normal,
time,
but
yeah. Wow.
I am Theo's face.
I thought it was like 50 minutes, but okay, yeah. This is respectable.
We're doing good. And plus, like, knowing us, when we're like, we should stop
we're
recording, and then there's like another half an hour, and then it's like, oh, now maybe we'll stop. Just because I'm feeling rather anxious.
Yeah, good.
So
listen to
I'm
your
gonna go deal with that.
To your body, and
Yes.
Yeah, I'm also anxious.
Work that
nervous.
Out. Yeah.
It's going to be good. I think
You're going to be so good, Theo. You're going to be so good.
It's just like the thing on Thursday is also that I have to like meet people who are official, and I have to be like, hello, I am wearing a suit. Monkey man.
Yeah.
I think I might need to shave or do something about this.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. And show up.
Weren't you going to shave anyways?
Yeah. Yes, I was. I was thinking of shaving. Yes. It was a secret. But I've been now sort of telling people on stream that this will soon change, so people don't get what's happening.
That's good.
I told the story about my dad who had if you picture a Mexican wrestler, that type of mustache, we go. It's like he looked like a Mexican bandit when I was growing up. It looked like a dead gerbil on his upper lip.
Oh no!
And when I was like 11, he shaved, and I came into the bathroom and I ran down crying to my mom and said, "There's an old strange man standing in the bathroom. I did not recognize my dad." I'll share a picture on Discord as well for this.
There we go. Spoiler pictures. Thank you for podcasting with me, friend.
Thank you so much for podcasting with me.
It's been lovely. Good luck with your week. You're going to kill it. It's going to be a lot, but you're going to do real good.
It's going to be fun to talk about it on Monday. That's all I can say right now.
I'm excited for that.
I'm browsing my phone, sorry.
You can follow us both on the interwebs,
yes.
Theodor Elfving or Alanna Matty. You can also go to linktr.ee/mostlyfinished for links to all of our stuff. Or you can also email us questions, comments, concerns to mostlyfinished@gmail.com. You have one thing left to say, Theo.
Make street elephants horse things. Friends, thank you so much for listening to us, and thank you for. There's been so many kind words. My God.
Oh yes,
people have been,
it's true,
and that people are listening to this.
Mm-hmm.
Makes my
for those
heart
of you
happy.
who have just gotten caught up, welcome. Congratulations! Thank you for making it through 22 episodes of us.
That is quite a lot.
Rambling. Mm-hmm. It is quite a lot. Talking about stuff.
I also want to show you this. Okay, we can end the recording and then I'll find the picture because I need to show you this.
Okay, amazing.
Sorry.
Spoiler pictures in Discord.
Yes. Wow.
Okay. Okay. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Farewell.